Hey guys, this is Nod Lammers of Invoked 101. Welcome back, and today we're taking a look at the updated Chaos Impact Tenyi deck profile. This deck is pretty sweet. You guys saw in the locals vlog, I did get first place with this deck down at locals. I have changed it up a little bit because I did say that there were some cards that underperformed. At least I remember talking about cards that underperformed, and I think that this is a really good version of Tenyi right now. I like this, and I think that this is definitely one of the better ways to go with it. Anyways, before we actually get into the deck profile, shout out to Trey for hooking me up with the Draco Berserker. Shout out to Chaos Games for selling me the third Ashuna that I needed. And if you guys want to support the channel, down in the description there's a link to our Patreon if you feel like backing us that way. You can get yourself something really cool like the Invoked 101 playmat that you can see in other videos. And then there's also our Teespring, so if you want to get yourself an Invoked 101 sticker, t-shirt, any kind of merch that we got going on, that's where to get it. Both those links are down in the description. Anyways, with that out of the way, we're going to zoom in, set the extra deck, these spells and traps off to the side, and we will get right into the deck profile. Whoop, there we go. So the first card we're running, of course, is the new guy. We're playing 3 copies of Tenyi Spirit Ashuna. So all the Tenyis have a shared effect, or at least all the Tenyi Spirits, which is that if you control no effect monsters, you can special summon them from the hand. And then all of them have the effect, another effect that lets them banish from the hand or graveyard to do something different. So this one's banish effect is that you get to special summon a Tenyi from the deck, except Ashuna. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn except Wyrms. So that's it's really good because it lets you go into Berserker, it lets you go into like Baxia, Yazzie, it lets you do a bunch of stuff. This card is pretty awesome, and honestly, like if Tenyi's got a level 5 synchro, they'd be pretty lit. Like they'd be in like one of the best positions for a deck. But yeah, there's him. Then we have the Dark one, which is also the level 7 Vishuddha, which has the same special summoning effect. And his banish effect is that you get to target a card your opponent controls and bounce it to the hand. So that's super useful. I used Vishuddha a lot. And actually that's what saw his use in Orchist, is that you could just special summon him and then normal summon something, link them both away, and then Vishuddha could bounce something, which was pretty cool. And then the next one we play is Triple Adhara. This is your level 1 tuner for the Tenyi. And I remember when he came out, I was really confused. I was like, oh, I guess you're just supposed to play Yang Zings with them, which we did for a while with the Tenyis. Anyway, his effect, he has the same special summoning effect, and then his banish effect is that you get to target a banished Tenyi and add it to your hand by banishing himself, except for himself. You can't get the same Adhara, which is pretty. Like, it's kind of like a Assault Core, where you can grab another one, but not himself. Then we have Tenyi, this one's weird to pronounce. This is Shathana. This one's really good. This was probably one of the best ones for the theme when it came out. And this was also one of the shorter print ones from what I noticed. Like, a lot of the Tenyi rares are really hard to get. And speaking of hard to get, this guy is definitely a short print. Because out of, like, at least a shorter print, because I pulled one out of my box, and then Josh pulled one out of his box. But, like, I've seen boxes where this isn't pulled, like, at all. And I only pulled one out of my box. So, he is a shorter print. Anyway, this one's really cool. His banish effect is when a Tenyi, or a non-effect monster you control is destroyed, or non-effect monsters is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target one of those destroyed monsters, special summon it, and then pop a monster your opponent controls. It's pretty awesome. Which leads you to slamming your monk into a few things just to pop something, which is, understandable. Then we have one of the other really good ones. This is Mapura. And Mapura has a really cool effect. So his effect is that when when a opponent activates a card or effect that targets a face-up non-effect monster you control, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard, negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. So that's really cool. Here's a super cool card right there. And then we have probably the weakest one, and I honestly have thought about cutting this one down, but I don't know what I would add in. This is Nahara. And Nahara is one of the weaker ones. This one, during a battle between your opponent's monster and a non-effect monster, and a non-effect monster you control, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard, and then make the opponent's monsters lose 1,500, which isn't a significant amount. That is actually like a pretty big loss for a lot of cards. The issue being that Monk is only 1,000. I do kind of wish that this gave Monk 15, so it put him at 25, but you know, whatever. It's all good. But yeah, that's it for the Tenyi Spirit monsters. Those are all the Tenyis we run. Then for auxiliary stuff, I have finally removed the Gene Warped Werewolves for the Mystery Shell Dragons. I decided that I think Mystery Shell Dragon is better in this deck, while Werewolf is better in Phantasm Spiral, and simply because this is a Wyrm. It's a Wyrm normal that has 2,000 attack, so this gives me something to like just have a beat stick for a little bit with that I can protect. After that, then I play 2 Destrudo because there is you can make Yazzie in this deck, which is something that I do want to be able to do. So I do play Destrudo just to make Yazzie with some of the other level 4 Tenyis. Because a lot of them, I think most of them are level 4. They're either level 4 or 7, and then they have the level 1 tuner. But yeah, so Destrudo's really good with that. And then I also play 1 Mare for the Yazzie. You don't want to draw Mare, I want to summon it out of the deck, so that's why we're playing Mare. Which is also a Wyrm. Very neat little interaction there. That's it for the monsters. A lot of monsters in this deck, because it is very monster heavy. Then after that, we have our spells, which I'm playing triple Vessel of the Dragon Cycle. This is kind of your Rhoda for the deck, I guess you'd call it. It's pretty good. So it says, send 1 Wyrm from your deck to the graveyard. Then if you control a non-effect monster, you can add 1 Tenyi from your deck to the hand with a different name than the sent monster. So you can send any Wyrm. If you send any Wyrm from the deck to the grave, you get to search any Tenyi, but if you send a Tenyi, you get to search a different Tenyi. It's a really cool card, and it only requires like a non-effect monster to be on the board to get the bonus effect. After that, I'm playing 2 Flawless Perfection. Flawless Perfection gives a protection effect to your non-effect monsters. Says they can't be, says they're unaffected by monster effects, which is pretty cool. And then once per turn, if your opponent special summons a monster while you control a face down or non-effect monster, you get to draw 2, which is pretty slick. But I'm not playing any hand traps in the deck currently, so this isn't as good as it could be, because you do want to use it to, like, your opponent special summons like their first summon, and then you like draw 2, and it's like, oh, hand traps, now I can pop off. But yeah, so I'm not playing 3. I just don't think 3 is worth playing. 1 Terraforming, because it is a useful card nonetheless, but you don't necessarily want it all the time. And then 1 for 1 to get out the tuner, and a new card, 1 Foolish Barrel. Even though we have 3 archetypal Foolish Barrels, it is still really good just to get something in the graveyard to continue your plays. So I do play 1 Foolish. That's it for the spell cards. The sad part about Wyrms is they don't have very much good spell card support, but they have some decent trap. They have 1 decent trap. But moving into the traps, we have triple Fists of the Unrivaled Tenyi. This is their counter trap that also is a Waking of the Dragon, which is pretty awesome. So its effect is when a spell trap or monster effect is activated while you control a non-effect monster, negate that activation. And then it says, if this set card you control is destroyed by opponent's card effect, you can special summon 1 non-effect monster from your extra deck. And that's pretty slick, because you can basically just summon a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon for free, which is the biggest non-effect monster in the game. So we do play 3 of those, just because it's pretty awesome. Then I'm playing triple Storm Dragon's Return. Mio, I remember when this archetype came out in Rising Rampage, right? Yeah, this is from Rising Rampage as well. Mio was like, yeah, no, you gotta play Storm Dragon's Return in there. It's meant for the deck. And I was like, and so I just started like playtesting with it. And I was like, oh yeah, because this just gives you free link materials after you banish your Tenyis and can't get them back. So Storm Dragon's Return, really awesome. It also bounces them back to the hand. If you don't want them on the field, you can activate this in your opponent's end phase and then just bounce it back to your hand, which is pretty slick. And then you can just use your Tenyi's hand effect. So yeah, really cool trap card there. And then the last one we're playing is 2 Waterfall of Dragon Souls. This is one of the best Wyrm support cards. This came out back in Maximum Crisis alongside the True Dracos and the Phantasm Spiral archetype, which were 2 Wyrms. 2 Wyrm archetypes, and it has 2 different effects. It says, add 1 Wyrm monster from your deck to your hand, or send any number of Wyrm monsters from your hand and or face up from your field to the graveyard, draw cards equal to the number of monsters you sent to the graveyard plus 1. I actually used this card in the locals vlog, I don't know if I recorded it or if it ended up in there, but my opponent was gonna pop 2 of my cards, so I activated this, sent both my Tenyi Berserker, my Tenyi Link, and my Ashuna from my hand to the grave to draw 4 new cards, so he couldn't get effect off of destroying my guys, which was pretty clutch in that moment. But outside of that, it's really just a Rhoda for Worms, which is slow, but because it lets you draw cards and it lets you set up your graveyard, it is useful in the deck. And that's it for the Tenyi main deck. It's pretty simple and pretty standard, honestly. Like, you could change Mapura into a 1 Mapura out for like an Effect Veiler along with Nahata for an Effect Veiler, but I just haven't added hand traps yet. After that, we do play, moving into the extra deck, we play triple Monk of the Tenyi. He just needs 1 non-link Tenyi to summon him, which is pretty easy. He has 1,000 attack. Do kind of wish they pushed it and put him at like 12, but you know, it's okay, it's fine. Then we have double Shaman of the Tenyi. This guy is really awesome. She is one of the best Tenyi monsters and is your main combo starter. So what she does is it has an effect of you can discard 1 card, target a worm in your graveyard, special summon it. Also, you cannot, for the rest of this turn, you cannot activate monsters special summon from the extra deck except Tenyis. Then it says when attack is declared involving your face-up effect monster, you can target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it. And that happens on declaration, so like if you attack with Monk and she's on board, you're just gonna pop a card just instantly, and then Monk potentially gets another attack, so because you get replay, which is pretty awesome. Then I'm playing 2 Draco Masters of the Tenyi. This is the new Tenyi Link, and this actually is a miracle that this is out over here in the TCG at all, because this is a jump promo over in Japan. So it was really exciting when this guy was announced that he was going to be in the set as well, next to Berserker and Ashuna, because this one's really good. So it has 3 arrows down, Link 3, and it says 2+ monsters, including a Link, cannot be destroyed by battle with an effect monster, and it says if you control no other effect monsters, you can destroy effect monsters your opponent controls up to the number of non-effect monsters you control and or in your graveyard. You can only use this effect of Draco Masters once per turn. But yeah, 2600, which pointed out to me by the Yu-Gi-Oh! OCG Structures anime, and the Link arrows are actually the combined attack and combined Link arrows of Shaman and Monk, who are in the artwork together, which is pretty cool. It's like a neat little Easter egg for the cards. That's really cool. Then we have 2 Berserker. I don't think Berserker is worth running 3 of anymore, especially with the new Link 3, as you can still resolve this one under Shaman because he is a Tenyi. But Berserker just isn't as good because he does give your opponent 2 Link arrows, which is the biggest issue with Berserker. I do wish he only gave them 1 and had another one at the bottom, but you know, it's whatever. He's our 3K beat stick, and he needs 2 monsters, including a Link, so to summon him. And that's it for the Tenyi Link monsters. So then for our Synchros, we'll start with the big ones and go back. We have 1 Draco Berserker of the Tenyi. I only have 1 currently, and I think 1 is the proper number because the extra deck space in this is actually kind of tight. Like, depending on how you build your deck. But yeah, Draco Berserker is really good. So he's a generic level 8 Synchro, and then his effect is when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, banish it. And then you can banish it. Then it says, if this attacking card destroys an effect monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, this card gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's original attack. Also, it can make a second attack on a monster during this battle phase. You can only use each effect of Berserker of the Draco Berserker of the Tenyi once per turn. He has 3,000 attack and 0 defense. So, pretty cool card, honestly. Like, it's good. It's good for the deck, and it actually is a pretty decent little level 8 Synchro. So, if you're looking for a good generic Synchro, definitely a Draco Berserker, because he is kind of like just a BLS, but as a Synchro. Then I do play 2 Yangzing Synchros. I play 1 Baxia for the spinning effect, because on summon, Baxia gets to spin cards your opponent controls equal to the different attributes of worms used to summon him. And because this entire deck is worms, Baxia works great with the deck. So you're able to spin 2 cards usually, because you'll use like Vishuddha or Ashuna, which is a light or a dark, and then an earth tuner. So you always get 2. Then we have Yazzie. Yazzie's really good. It pops a card and then summons Mermare, and then Mermare summons tokens. So that's what Yazzie's here for. We summon this off of oh, what is it? We summon this off of Destrudo when we do plays with Destrudo. We also summon FA Dawn Dragster with Destrudo. I figured since I'm not playing the Werewolf anymore, I can't get the spell negate that way. So, but I am playing Destrudo, so I'll get the spell negate this way. Even though it's a little bit, it drains him of his level, but it's whatever. It's usually enough to put it down. But yeah, so there's the Synchros, and then for our Waking the Dragon target I already mentioned, yeah, we do play one Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon for the Fist of the Unrivaled Tenyi effect to summon any non-effect monster. And after that, that's it for the extra deck. Tenyis are really, really cool. I've enjoyed playing this deck, like, since it came out, and it's been amazing to, like, kind of see how it's going, and, like, where it's all, like, there's a rumor that we're gonna get some, like, Unchained stuff in the next set that's supposed to, like, have artwork that crosses over with the Tenyi and such, but so far that's just rumors. But it would be really cool to see that, because the Unchained look like they could take on the Tenyi, especially since you have, like, Unchained Souls and the Tenyi Spirits. I think that would be really cool. But Tenyis are a really fun deck that do have a lot of potential. Like, honestly, if they got, like, one more monster, one more main deck monster, another level 5 Synchro, and then maybe another piece of spell and trap support, they'd probably be in a really good spot. And honestly, they don't really need another main deck monster. It would just be nice to get a level 5 Synchro and then, like, a piece or two of spell and trap support. I think the deck could do something. But with that out of the way, thank you guys for watching. Tell me what you guys thought about this deck in the comments below. And while you're down there, feel free to check out the description where our Patreon and our Teespring are. So if you want to get anything from our merch, or you want to support the channel anyway, down there is where to do it. And with that said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.